Silent. Will we be silent?
No!
Will we be silent?
No!
Will we be silent?
No!
So, let me ask Reverend Kirsten Joy to come up to the stage. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. No justice. No justice. No justice. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it? It is good to be with you all here this very warm Saturday here in the nation's capital. We've joined with Randy Weingarten, one of the most progressive and powerful leaders in America today, not just in labor, but writ large. We are grateful for her leadership. We are grateful for her partnership and her friendship, and all of those who have gathered today in coalition together to confront the major oppressor of our time, gun violence and the NRA. We're here the 53rd anniversary of the March on Washington. 53 years ago, they came to Washington not just to raise their voices, but they came to Washington to get legislation passed. They came to Washington for the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act and the Open Housing Act. Today we come to Washington because it's only common sense to have background checks. It's only common sense that if you're on the no-fly list, you should not be able to buy an assault weapon. We've come to Washington because it's only common sense that assault weapons that are used as weapons and tools of warfare should not be found on the streets of America. We've come to Washington today sandwiched between the U.S. Chamber of Commerce on my left, the National Republican Committee on my right, and the National Rifle Association to my back, to show and demonstrate the connection in this country between money and power, conservative ideals, the Republican Party, and gun violence. We're not ignorant to the devices of our enemy. We know that there's profit in bloodshed. We know that 33,000 deaths a year makes money for somebody. We know that it costs money to bury people. We know it costs money to make weapons, to make bullets. We know that people are getting rich off of the spilling of innocent blood. So we've come here today because we are going to show the world that we recognize this connection, and we are not going to remain silent in the face of this evil. Our coalition today is one that has not been seen for some time. We have gays, straights, and transgenders standing alongside black and brown and white, standing alongside the young and the old. You can be Jewish, Muslim, Christian, atheist. You might be a teacher or a preacher. But we've come together today because our action is demanded of our time. We've been called to this time to confront this enemy. You know, America is great today. Don't let people tell you otherwise. We've not lost our greatness. We may have lost our way, but we have not lost our greatness. Our greatness was achieved when we confronted the ill and the evil of slavery, that great oppressor of millions of African people. We have confronted the great oppressor of women's oppression. We saw suffrage bring voting rights to women. We confronted the great oppressor called Jim Crow. And when we confronted Jim Crow, we stared him in the eye, and we did not blink, and we put Jim Crow 6 feet under the ground. We confronted homophobia. We confronted Islamophobia. We confronted all the phobias that people make money on in this country. But today there's a new evil. There's a new great oppressor in America. There's a new great evil that is not just threatening us based on our race, or threatening us based on our gender, or threatening us based on our sexual orientation, or any other false or fake law that we've elected in this country. We've come here today because we have to face the great evil that threatens all of our existence, our collective existence, that evil of gun violence, that evil culture of violence that permeates this country. We've come because we've got to uproot it. We've got to uproot it for Ryan's sake. We've got to uproot it for my 3 children's sake. We've got to uproot it for your children's sake. For the future of our nation, we have got to end and confront the scourge of gun violence. We must answer the call of our time.
Answer the call.
Like our ancestors answered the call in their time. We cannot shrink. We cannot fall back. We cannot get weary in well-doing. We must grow to our mission. We must fulfill our calling. And we must do the work that we have been ordained to do. We will not subscribe to the false